if I didn't buy another movie, I'm good. I'm great. I'm good until for as long as I walk the earth now, like I have what I need here. And anything else is just, it's like a cherry on top of this massive ice cream sundae. And I'm just going to enjoy it while it's here. Because as Bill Lustig said, everybody go check out the Bill Lustig.
I can't wait to watch that.
In 5 years, it's not going to be like this in 5 years. So enjoy it. Enjoy today.
Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to the Physical Media Club. This is episode 3, and with me today is Heath from Cereal at Midnight. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you on here, man. I've enjoyed your channel for so long now, and I'm a huge physical media collector myself. I don't have quite the collection like you have, but I'm working on it. I've been collecting since I was a kid, and I see you've said you've been collecting for like 30 years. So how'd you get into all that?
32, I
32,
think.
yes.
So my magic movie was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in 1991, and it came out on. I was going to the Blockbuster to rent it like every Friday, and I would watch it as many times as I could over the weekend. And then at some point, I was like, well, we had this local drugstore called Farmore. It was PHAR, like pharmacy. Farmore.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they had a big standee, a cardboard standee for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves when you walked into it. And it was advertising the VHS. And I was like, hey, like preteen Heath was like, wait, if I could just own it, I think it was $24.99. It might have even been $19.99. And I talked to my parents and I was like, if I get really good grades, can I just buy this movie? And they were like, yes, you can. So that was my entry into physical media as a collector. That's the first one. I had movies before that. We had family, we had my dad bought a Betamax player in the early to mid 80s, and so we had movies around, but those were the ones. That was the first one that I bought that really jump started the collection. And from there on, it was just sort of so like dominoes falling. And then by 97, 98, that's what I'm doing, is I'm spending most of my money to buy the movies that I want to watch. Because this is a very different time back then than it is now, like now the geeks have inherited the earth. But at that time, it was sort of a niche thing. It was sort of an underground thing. Like I would wear Star Wars t-shirts. It was not unlike the Goldbergs, like Adam Goldberg in the series, The Goldbergs. It was kind of like that. Like it wasn't.
I love that show, man. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It's sort of like, I've talked about this before, because like so many people I've talked to are like, did you live the same life I lived? And I'm like, that's just like how we connect, because that's pretty much how I got into it, because I found myself renting movies over and over. My movie was Superman the movie. That was like my big movie that got me into everything. And as like my first big purchase, the big clamshell of Superman the movie. And it's just like, you start renting it and you're like, can I buy it? And then I just slowly just started buying them and buying them and buying them. And it is what it is. And now I'm this huge movie nerd guy. And it's just like, I'm having a blast. And, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is coming to 4K from Arrow. So I'm excited about that, because I love that movie too. I bought multiple copies of that movie throughout the years.
I'm very excited about that release. I wish that it was getting a dual region release, but I guess Warner Brothers controls it in the US, and I don't think they're going to do anything with it. Yeah. Maybe they will, but I don't know. That
was something I was surprised about, because Warner Brothers is a little bit notorious for holding on to their stuff. So I was surprised Arrow got at least to do a 4K of it.
It's because it's different rights in the UK. It's Morgan Creek catalog is owned by.
Oh yes.
Don't put me on. I don't remember exactly who owns it. Is it Studio Canal? Anyway, it's different rights.
Might be. I get you. I feel that. Yeah,
Studio Canal owns everything.
Yeah. It's like every time you hear there's a new 4K transfer coming, Studio Canal. Yeah. But yeah, that's. I mean, like I'm right there with you on that, and I'd like to cover video store memories, and that was sort of one of them. And I was like, do you have like another like really great vivid video store memory that just, when you think about it, it just warms you?
Warms me. I was going to tell you something else until you said warms.
Oh, well, you can go into that.
I don't know if I have a warm video. I don't know. I mean, we had when I grew up, my house was 2 houses from the highway. And on the other side of the highway was a video store. It was a mom and pop video store called Mr. Video. And I would go there, you know, all the time. It was not Blockbuster. Blockbuster killed Mr. Video, which is the whole thing that we like. In this nostalgia for the video store, we're propping up the things that killed, the things that we really love. And I get it, like Blockbuster, it's a nostalgia thing, but like Blockbuster killed the mom and pop video store. So Mr. Video was our local one, and I would go over there and rent Nintendo games because they had Nintendo games when not a lot of other people did. And I also remember one of my earliest video store memories is seeing a Friday the 13th. It was like a mobile that was hanging from it was like a cardboard mobile hanging from the ceiling. And I wasn't allowed to see those movies. And I just locked in on it. I was like, what is that? And it has stuck with me for all, 30, however, it's stuck with me. And it was almost like a forbidden fruit thing too, because like I was not allowed to watch horror movies when I was a kid. But then when you get older, you're like, well, I want to get Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies were some of my first DVD purchases when DVD first, arrived.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. But my older brother, he always got to rent them, and he always be watching the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets and stuff, and I'd be like, around the corner like that. And then it's just like from when I got older and I finally got to watch them, and it's like I'm a huge fan of that. Like 80s horror in general is like my jam of horror movies, and I just love watching those and seeing all those movies. And yeah, we do like I did a thing here about like we over romanticize the video store, which I think that's okay. I know we do it, but I think it's okay. But yeah, Blockbuster, I know we all look fondly upon it, but it killed so many. It killed some of my favorite video stores, and it's sad to see that all that has gone away now. But hey, at least as collectors, like what you got behind you and my stuff's over here. I need to set up my camera so I can do it over there. But yeah, like what I have over here is just like at least we have that. And we can enjoy our physical media.
That's a key part of it too, isn't it? It's like for people who grew up around a video store, we want our own video stores. I think that's a driving force for us. I don't know if that's something that someone who's in their 20s now is if you didn't grow up with a video store, I'm not sure if there's a huge appeal for having a massive collection like this. I think we're seeing a switch where I don't think we've seen it. We're seeing it. I think it's already happened. Yeah. Most people are fine to just fire up Netflix or Disney Plus and like, what's new right now? I'll check that out. And they're fine with that.
Yeah.
But for people that have had the alternative, if you've had choice, if you've walked the aisles, it's a different experience, and that it means something to you. And on the note of that, like, it's okay to be nostalgic about this stuff. We celebrate our nostalgia. We have to be careful that we don't let our nostalgia blind us to the truth and be like, Blockbuster was awesome, and Hollywood Video and all these places. I certainly supported them. Yeah. I had near the end of Blockbuster. I don't know if it was near the end, but around 2000, you could get a card. And I think it was $5. You could get 5 rentals.
Yeah.
And I would do like you can keep them like 5 days too. I think it was.
Yeah. I did that.
Man, I saw so many movies that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I know a lot of people, don't like Blockbuster now because they're starting to see some of that, but they also love it. I always look fondly on it because it was like my last vestige of video rental. That was like, cause all my other, yes, they put out all my other stores, but I did find a really nice one that I really liked and enjoyed. And that felt sort of like a, mom and pop, because the manager, I got real good friends with her and stuff, and I got that card. So, and yeah, it was sad to see all that go. But yeah, once you've walked those aisles and you have that love for physical media and stuff, it kind of sticks with you. And we can, it's fun to live in nostalgia, but you don't want to, like you said. But yeah, it was a good time, and I'm glad to be able to have some stuff still from that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now when you find if you ever find a used VHS or a DVD that's got the rental branding on it, hey, look.
Yeah. I know, because I started buying some more VHSs here recently again, for the first time in a long time. I've bought tons of them. But it's just like a love of it, and it's fun to see those stickers or find them in those cases, like the brown cases with the white paper on the front you remember those? Oh man, I love those. It's pretty neat finding those. But I got to say, something I want to talk to you about, because I just watched this video, your Back to the Beach video. I loved that video. I love that movie. I just got my Paramount Presents copy not too long ago, and I watched it, and it's just like this weird blend of everything. Because that's why I love like 80s stuff so much, because it's like this weird blend of 50s and 60s and 80s all together, and made this really great fun time. And I love the beach movie, so you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't take themselves seriously, and what I love about Back to the Beach is that it is nostalgic for the 50s and the 60s, but it's not ironic, and it's not making fun of Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello. It's like, aren't they cool? And it's not like a... So this is the thing that I have about irony now. So much stuff is filtered through irony, and if you get something that looks back, it's like, look at these jerks.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that. It just says, have fun with it. And it has its cake and eats it too, because it's got the punk stuff, and then it's got Stevie Ray Vaughan in it, you know.
Yeah.
It's also surf cool, and like all that's the tiki stuff. Like, that's what I grew up with. That's what it will always be cool to me, because that's it's like Nickelodeon in the 80s and the early 90s. Like, that's what it looked like. So yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's just a blast. I hadn't seen it in so long, and like when I heard they were bringing it out, I was like, this is on my list. It was immediately on my list, and it was one of my top purchases, because I had not seen it, and it's something I do remember as a kid. I used to watch it on maybe it was Comedy Central or USA or something. I can't remember.
It came on somewhere. I think
yeah, well, like one of those channels.
Yeah.
And it's just, it has that feel to it, and I love that, because yes, a lot of stuff, when like newer modern stuff looks back on like the 80s or the 50s, and it's like ha ha ha, and no, this was like, yes, this is the 80s, this is what it was like back then, and but who cares? It's fun, and it's, you know, Gilligan, to see Gilligan and the scene when he almost gets with the girl, and then the skipper shows up, and it's just like, I love that, because it's so true.
3-hour tour.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour tour. And it's something like that was never really brought up on the show, but then you kind of get to see some of their emotions and feelings about it. And I really like that connection, and it was just a fun watch, and just to see all that once again was a blast.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear that they have a new interview with the director too, which I thought was nice.
Yeah,
you could catch up and hear the behind the scenes story. I would have liked a commentary, but I guess that wasn't.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I mean, but it was fun. It was like, I loved her little thing where it's like, she said she was having a, because I watched that special feature where she said she was like having a bad day, and Frankie Valli was like, "We're making a movie." So it's like, it's just, yeah, you're making a movie. That's awesome. Yeah, you know. And that was fun, and I'm looking forward to watching your interview. I haven't watched it yet today, go to the recording of this with Bill Lustig. I am so looking forward to watching that.
It's packed. I could have talked to him for another hour, but he's got predictions, and he's predictions 5 years from now, what the landscape's going to look like. Companies, he's like, some of these people aren't going to be here in 5 years, and he's right. They're not. So yeah, I had a really great time with that one. I'm proud of that one.
I'm looking forward to watching that. I'll be checking that out today, probably later day after this. You know, got to do some stuff, and then I'll be getting on YouTube and checking out all my channels I like to watch. Yours is one of the top ones, man. I just enjoy it so much, and that's why I'm psyched, because I feel like I'm this little itty bitty small channel, and you're like this awesome channel that I can't believe you're on here.
No, we're all peers. We're all the same. We're all fans.
That's why I try to do it. See, I mean, if I get 5 views, I get 100 views. It's all good, you know.
You do it for you.
Yeah, that's why I want to do it. Yeah, I just love talking physical media and horror movies and sci-fi and just whatever I see, because I try to have a variety of content. And yes, with physical media being the number one, but I've tried to have a variety of content, and it's fun to talk to people like you guys. I've talked to so many, and it's just, I love it. It's a blast.
Yeah, I love talking to people too. Thank you so much again for the invite. I
appreciate it. Yeah. Is there any new titles coming out that you're looking forward to besides Robin Hood?
Oh my gosh, man!
Hey, I know there's so many.
It's like overload. I don't even know. If I start naming them, I'm going to leave something out. So so the rest of the year is going to be pretty jam packed. I was just looking at the September 27th release date, and I was like, "How are so many movies coming out on September 27th?" It's a bunch of stuff.
It is.
I always am excited about it. I'm happy to see 4K continuing to diversify into more of a, like, we're getting Elvis and stuff like that, but I like to see the more niche genre titles getting 4Ks, and we are seeing more of that, so that's good. And I don't know, man, like everything I've ever wanted, it seems like it's either coming soon or it's out or it's
Yeah.
being worked on. I mean, now I don't know what's happening with 20th Century Fox and the Disney stuff. I don't like, we really could use that.
Yeah.
I hope they have some plans. I don't know that they do, but
I know Disney's weird.
yeah. They're like, we don't need it. We don't need sales. I mean, they probably make
Yeah.
more in a day in the theme parks than like a year of disc sales. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're taking movies off the table, which is
Hmm.
scary.
It is. It's something that's that's why I always say, I mean, yeah, streaming and all that's fine and everything. Yeah, that's fine. No, I'm not against, I'm not against it. I'm not going to say don't watch it or anything, but it's scary when you got companies specifically like Disney, because Disney is like the biggest offender of all this, that takes these movies and they like shelve them, and there's like literally money on the table for like an Aliens box set 4K or just Blu-ray. It doesn't even have to be 4K.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come on. And that's something else I wanted to talk to you about, because I saw that post you made about how film history is mostly on DVD and we can't afford to. Yeah, I agree with you to that, because we can't afford to always just keep waiting for the 4K or the Blu-ray, because sometimes you have to go out and you got to get the DVD, the VHS, the laser disc, and the original Blu-ray. So
Yeah. If people saw that, it blew up. Let me know that a lot of people are either thinking about that or it hit some people where they live. Like, I love 4K.
yeah, me too.
I do love 4K. I constantly am buying 4K
Yeah.
and reviewing 4K. But you're going to see in that Bill Lustig interview, when you watch the William Lustig Blue Underground interview, like he talks about what it costs to make a 4K. I was like, Bill, what gets a 4K? And he gives 3 things that get a 4K. Most movies don't meet one of the 3, let alone all 3 of the 3.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like, as movie fans, to only want 4K or to only support 4K, or if someone announces something and they say, why no 4K? It's really missing it. Like, I'm a movie fan, and I'm a pop culture fan and a TV show fan more than I'm a HD fan. And sometimes I wonder when I see people talking about this stuff, I'm like, are you a movie fan or are you an HD fan? There is overlap, but they're not necessarily the same thing. And I just want to see what I want to see. And it saddens me more than anything else. It saddens me when people just straight up tell me, I will not buy a DVD. I will not buy a Blu-ray. I will only buy a 4K. And I'm like, well, Jack, man, you just missed everything, because most of it's not coming.
Yeah.
I just bought everything. I'm buying things all the time. But like, so much of what's coming in for me, it's only DVD. I'm reviewing a movie right now. It's paused while I'm for this, and it's only on DVD. I can even say it's a movie called Checkered Ninja. It's a CGI movie from it's Danish, I think it's what it is. And it's like it looks like a kid's movie, but it's not for kids, because it's got a lot of profanity and there's like a murder in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Sounds good.
It's only on DVD because that's what they know is going to be the most profitable. They're not going to risk a Blu-ray, because why,
Yeah.
So I just feel like, as if our loyalty is to movie history, and I admit I was a history major in college, so I am history minded. That's the focus of my channel. It's like, look at all the cool stuff, everybody else. That's a deliberate tone I take, is like, so many people are like, new hotness, and I do that too. But I'm also like, look at everything we're not talking about. Let's talk about it. And we can't afford to be elitists when it comes to that. You have to embrace just access. So much of this stuff, just the fact that I have access to this in the first place,
right,
blows my mind. It makes me so happy, because I don't have to depend on, and I'm not anti-streaming either. My wife almost exclusively streams. My daughter almost exclusively streams. I'm the guy who's like, no, I want to watch this when I want to watch it on my own terms, unedited with special features. And I have that access. I have the chance to do that. So my loyalty is to movie history and to pop culture history, TV shows. I think part of like, now I'm just off ranting.
Go ahead.
Listen, but you can give me your feedback on this.
Okay.
I think once you realize, it's like for the 4K only people, I don't think they realize how much they don't know. If like
Right.
if you're only watching blockbuster movies that have just opened at the theater, like if you're 25 and you're watching Marvel and DC, and I'm looking around for examples, and the mainstream movies, you're
Right.
not interested in a 19 you're not interested in a noir, you're not interested
Right.
in a catalog. It's to Kill a Mockingbird's coming out on 4K.
Which I'm looking forward to that.
I wonder what the audience for that's going to be, because so many of the 4K people only seem to be watching things that are as old as they are or younger.
Yeah.
And so I just wonder, once you get to a certain age, like for me, it happened around 30. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about movies. I've loved movies my whole life, and I've missed all of movie history. Like I've missed everything before I was born.
Right.
And then I go back and I start, Universal monster movies. And then that leads me to noir. And then it's just like, again, dominoes falling. But I don't know that everybody's there yet. And I see a lot of 4K only people who I don't think they've arrived there yet. I hope they do. But what do you think about that?
I agree with you, because I've talked to people too, like people who who says their kids will immediately, when they see like a movie, they'll tell, oh, this movie's from the 60s or 70s, and they won't watch it. And I'm like, that's crazy, because I grew up on like the Universal monsters. That was something I used to rent stacks of them, and I love that. And I used to watch like when I got to the point like Monster Vision, and like I always remember staying up late with my brothers and watching these like old films like from the 50s and 60s, like horror, Hammer and all that stuff. So I'd never really had a problem with that. And I think when I got to about probably my late 20s, maybe 30s myself, that I realized, like there's so many other movies out there, like from Arrow and Shout and all, and Vinegar Syndrome. And like I've gone back and I've started to watch older movies, because I'm finding so many they're older movies, but they're new to me. So like I'm enjoying them. Like in film noir, I've been meaning to get into film noir because I've seen so many great film noir releases lately. And I'm like, I need to see that, because I agree with you. I don't think people realize like you can't be exclusive to 4K. And like I even get people at me like, why are you watching VHS again? It's all grainy and it's poor quality. I'm like, I don't care, because I can see this movie, and maybe this movie hasn't got a DVD or Blu-ray or something. I can enjoy this movie, and I can still make out what's going on and everything, and it's a good movie. It's a good time. And a lot of those 4Ks on like the Disney Marvel stuff and DC, that's just up conversion. It's not like true 4K anyways. True. So like with film grain and like 35 millimeter prints and 16 millimeter prints, and when it's upscaled or just in the form as it is, it's something different. It's something, I don't know. I love it. I love the film. I love the film grain. And I always fancied myself a lover of movies and pop culture. And I don't think I really got into it till I was a lot older, because, I was just buying things and putting this here. And then I started finding older movies and stuff. I agree with you on that, man. I see that.
Yeah. I'm glad, because we have so much at our fingertips right now. But if you're only watching 4K, do you realize, do you see what we have? We have so much.
I know. It's like I was watching. Go ahead.
Well, it's just because we've been here for so long, maybe we have a bigger appreciation for it, because we know we've never had it like this before.
No, we haven't. I mean,
age.
Yeah, I was watching Child's Play, the new 4K from Screen Factory. And my nephew, he's 20, and he came in and I was like, hey, look at this, because it looked really good. And he's like, whoa, I don't think I've ever seen film grain before. He's like, because I'm like, yes. I was like, this is what stuff right here. This is it, man. And he's like, yeah, because he's like into video games and all that stuff. And I'm like, I try to show him along the way, like this is, this is it's kind of good stuff right here, man. So yeah, and I thought that was a really great.
It's not in 60 frames per second.
Yeah, exactly.
Crystal clear and
yeah. And you got to turn off the motion smoothness, because that's you don't want that.
Sometimes when people complain to me about 4K, because people do, they say like, I hate 4K. They like, it looks weird. I'm like, do you have the motion smoothing on? Because that's something else.
Yeah,
that off.
I mean, if you get the right 4K and the right film, it looks like you're back in the theater again. It does. It looks like you're watching it on a big screen. Even it doesn't matter how big your TV is. It can feel like it. You turn the lights off, get that in there. So it's good. It's like I just love movies and TV. Like you did that video with all the TV shows, like 21 Jump Street, and I'm like, I want to get 21 Jump Street, and if that's the best quality I can get, I don't care, because I can watch 21 Jump Street on my copy, Right. And it was like my family, they like the streaming, but I like to be able to have the option of getting the disc, or whatever off the shelf and watching it.
Yeah, once those Stephen J. It's Cannell. I always thought it was Cannell, but I was talking to Kenneth Johnson the other day, and he called him Cannell, and I was like, oh, well, he would know. So
Yeah.
once those Stephen J. Cannell shows disappear, this time I don't know that they're coming back because
Yeah.
VEI is a real budget label, and they're blowing them out for like $39.95 each for
Yeah.
free shipping too.
That's awesome.
I think it's the last stop, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, even then, like you said, that's DVD, and if
Yeah.
you're not buying that, then you'll miss out. You'll lose that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, if
I mean,
you can't
they'll
just
probably be on YouTube, but you
yeah,
won't be able to.
it's not the same though. You
It's
know.
not the same, and it can easily be taken down or censored. Or this is what I tell myself: is like I have future-proofed my collection because, like, if I bought another movie, if I didn't buy another movie, I'm good. I'm great. I'm good
Yeah.
until for as long as I walk the earth. Now, you know, like I
Yeah.
have what I need here, and anything else is just it's like a cherry on top of this massive ice cream sundae, and I'm just gonna enjoy it while it's here because, as Bill Lustig said, everybody go check out the Bill
Yeah,
Lustig
I
interview.
can't wait to watch that.
In 5 years, it's not gonna be like this in 5 years. So
Yeah.
enjoy it, enjoy
And
today.
that's why I always say we're living in a time as physical media collectors. It's a time to be alive for this stuff because it like you said, 5 years from now, the landscape is going to change and it's going to change dramatically, and you may not be getting what you're getting now. So don't wait. Go out there and buy it because you really never know.
And anybody that's skeptical about that and they're like, it's going to be fine. It's always going to be around. Now, I don't want to motivate fear because I don't think that fandom, fear does not belong in fandom. But look, if you look at what has happened with Disney, as we get into more of a monopolized, like 3 to 5 companies own everything.
Yeah.
And with Disney and what they've done with 20th Century Fox, so many of those movies, some of them are on streaming, some of them are on iTunes, but a lot of them are just vanished.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to become more and more of the norm. I know like Universal takes great care of their stuff. Sony keeps things, they put things out on, like The Boys is a good example of that. That's a streaming show that they put out on Blu-ray. So I'm going to support that. But then I look at Warner Brothers and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in a year with Warner Brothers. They are very unstable. I don't think we can afford to take anything for granted because it's not, we are living in a window that is closing. It's not getting bigger. The heyday of the DVD era, and we're lucky enough to have seen it. Like, it was wonderful. Now we're in a different thing. We're in a niche market, but even that window is closing. I don't think it's ever going to be closed for good, but the choices we have right now, and again, I'll reference the Bill Lustig interview. He's like, there's only so many movies to license,
Right.
Like, we're running out of movies. Well, what happens when you've run out of movies?
Right.
There it goes. So it's an interesting time. It's a happy time. It's a time to enjoy it. That's why I'm like, part of me is like, there's so much anger and like, why no 4K? And it's so angry, but I'm like, man, just enjoy it. Look at what you do have the option for a Blu-ray. So
yeah, you can get the Blu-ray. Enjoy it. I agree with you, man. That's why it's like, I love buying them. I love collecting them and stuff. But if I can't get the 4K, if I can't get I will get the Blu-ray. I will get the DVD. I will even get the VHS, as I keep saying. I will get it. And it's a finite amount of time to where all these titles are out. Like you said, in September 27th, all those titles release, and then October. I just like the October, like the Screams and the Fright Night and all that stuff coming. And it's just like, yes, it's a great time, and you never know with the changing landscape or whatnot, what you can and will be able to buy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to extending my collection and getting what I can when I can.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
There you go. And I appreciate your time. I'm glad for you to be here today, and thank you. This was a great conversation here. Any final words before we close it down?
No, I enjoy that this conversation was about kind of enjoying things and appreciating what we have, because those are the themes that they're like the silent partners of my YouTube channel, is gratitude and appreciation and enjoyment. And you don't see a lot of rants on my channel because I could. I don't love everything. I
Yeah.
have a lot of
Yeah.
things that I don't like, but I choose not to talk about them because there's too many other great things that I do want to talk
Yeah.
about. And so, no, I appreciate you inviting me. I appreciate the tone of the conversation. I appreciate celebrating our fandom and embracing it and just
Exactly.
being happy to be fans because we are so lucky right now. Now, we have to buy it. Someone told me one time, not long ago, they were like, I was talking about gratitude. And they were like, if you have to buy it, you don't have to have gratitude. I was like, oh, I don't agree with that at all. Because just having the option to buy something, like we didn't have this 5 years ago. Like there was no restorations. I did a video of Films at Home about 5 movies that still need a Blu-ray, I think it was. Not even a 4K. I think 3 of my 5 have come to pass in a year and a half or whenever it was. And the others I know are being worked on.
Right.
And just the option, they might not be on 4K, but just knowing that they're being restored and that they are, coming to, that I'll be able to own them or that I do own them. Like, I'm just grateful, like, I think that we should be grateful, whether you buy it or not. We're lucky to be living in this time that we're living. And you listen to guys like Joe Dante.
Yeah.
He's an old school film fan. And in his era, when he was our age, they're collecting canisters of film. They're tracking down film prints at great expense, hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars for one movie. Now we have, thousands of movies on our shelves. It's just a great time to be a movie.
It is. And I sort of did a video like that myself, like 3 movies that needed. I did 3 movies, and 2 of those movies are coming. Earth Girls Are Easy. That was one I really wanted. It's getting a Vestron, and then The Invisible Maniac, which looks to be coming down the line, probably next year or so. I found out because like the director, he responded to somebody asking him about the Blu-ray, and he said, "Good things come to those who wait." So it looks like that's coming. I love those type of movies. And then I would love My Demon Lover on a Blu-ray. I would love a nice Blu-ray of that. But yeah, like it's a time. It's a wonderful time to be alive. Yeah. And I occasionally I may do a rain or two, but I don't really hate on anything. It's just basically love. Yeah. I like showing my love for these things. I like to talk about what I love, not about what I hate. So I appreciate it, and I'm so glad to have you on here. And I will have links to your channel down below in the description, so everybody can sub to you. I mean, you're awesome. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, it was a good time. And so everybody, just please like, subscribe, share, and support some physical media because it is the superior format.
There you go. Yeah, thank you again for having me. And guys, like I always say, like keep the conversation going because this is not meant to be just a one-sided thing.
In the comments,
let's talk about it. Yeah,
I love reading the comments. I love hearing what people have to say because it's so many different opinions that you can learn from. Yes, but thank you, and keep the conversation alive. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.